You know that feeling, right, of being constantly stuck in your head. That endless chatter, nagging thoughts, maybe feeling overwhelmed by your own mind.
Oh, absolutely. It's like this background noise that just never stops for a lot of people.
Exactly. Well, today in this deep dive, we're looking at something more than just managing it. We're unpacking a practical three-step protocol. It's designed to help you escape that mental loop, find some real calm, some clarity.
It sounds like moving beyond just coping towards actually changing the dynamic, that constant mental radio station.
Hmm.
Maybe we can find the off switch, or at least the volume dial.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the insights we're diving into today come from a pretty compelling source, the YouTube video. It's called How to Escape from Your Head, a three-step protocol.
Okay.
It's from the channel Mastering Thought, and it's hosted by Dr. Mark Waller and Christina Black.
Right. Mastering thought. And our mission here really is to unpack how these steps, noticing, tracing, and then making thoughts vanish, can actually lead to quite a significant shift.
Yeah, like an emotional, psychological, maybe even a spiritual awakening, as they put
Mm.
it. It's about fundamentally rethinking your relationship with your own mind.
It sounds potentially transformative. Where do we start? Is there a story or an example that really grounds this?
There is, and it's quite powerful. Dr. Waller shares this story about a couple he worked with from Anaheim to really show the potential here.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So it was a firefighter and his wife, and Dr. Waller described their relationship using this term, a typical lion-unicorn dynamic. Heard of that?
Vaguely, isn't that where one partner chases the lion and the other avoids the unicorn? Something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
And in their case, it was pretty intense. The husband, the firefighter, had apparently had multiple affairs, and the wife was, well, understandably very angry. A lot of conflict there.
Wow, yeah. That sounds like a really difficult situation. Deeply entrenched patterns.
Right. But here's the astonishing part. After just one session with Dr. Waller, where they learned just one of the protocols we're going to talk about, both of them had this profound shift.
One session on something that sounds so complex.
Yeah. He called it a spiritual, emotional, psychological awakening for both of them.
Okay, what does that actually mean, though, in practical terms? An awakening.
Well, as they describe it, it's this state of clarity, freedom, where you suddenly realize you are not your thoughts. And that changes everything, how you see yourself, the world.
That disidentification. That makes sense. A shift in perspective.
A huge shift. And the outcome. Get this. 9 months later, the wife contacts Dr. Waller. They'd sold their condo in Southern California,
Wow.
moved all the way to the mountains of Utah.
No kidding. Why?
She said it was more aligned with their new awakened experience. Think about that. That's not just changing your mindset, that's changing your entire life. A massive change.
That really drives home the potential impact, doesn't it? It shows how addressing that root cause, that identification with thought, can ripple outwards into huge real-world changes, not just a small adjustment.
Totally. So how did they get there? Let's break down these protocols. The first one is called the Flicker Protocol.
Okay.
And just to remind you, our guides here are Christina Black. She comes from massage and craniosacral therapy. And Dr. Mark Waller, who's been a licensed marriage and family therapist for like over 25 years.
Got it. So the flicker protocol, what's the goal?
It's really simple. The main goal is just to help you notice that you are thinking. That's it. Just become aware of the constant stream, the sheer volume of it.
Okay, just noticing. How do you actually do that?
The instruction is almost deceptively simple. At least 3 times a day. For 3 days straight, you just notice that you're thinking. That's the whole practice.
3 times a day for 3 days?
Yep. And they emphasize catching the really mundane stuff, the random, everyday, trivial thoughts. Like Dr. Waller gives this example. You're driving, maybe thinking about dinner.
Uh-huh.
Oh, pizza sounds good tonight. My wife likes pepperoni, but I like sausage. Maybe half and half. And right then, you just catch yourself. Oh, I'm thinking. And that's it. You just notice.
Interesting. It's so simple it almost feels like
Yeah,
nothing.
right. And that's the point they make. People often react with surprise, like, oh my God, I'm thinking all the time. We're mostly unaware of this constant background noise.
Yeah, that makes sense. But why the resistance? You mentioned people resist simple solutions.
Dr. Waller talked about that. He said sometimes, even when life is falling apart, the ego steps in. It
Yeah.
doesn't think something this simple will work. It wants complexity, maybe.
The ego wanting a grand solution.
But the core insight he shared is powerful. Just understanding that the voice in your head, the one using your voice, is actually not me. It's just, as he put it, one tiny part of my brain that happens to have a microphone.
Wow, I like that analogy, the microphone part.
Yeah. And he says just getting that insight can lead to a massive change really quickly, often in days, not weeks. Just that shift.
That makes sense. That initial disidentification, creating that space between you and the thought stream, that's foundational, isn't it? Becoming the observer.
Exactly. It sets the stage for the next step. So building on just noticing, we get to the trace protocol.
Okay, tracing, what does that add?
This one moves beyond just passive noticing. It's about actively engaging, disrupting that automatic flow. It forces you to step into that observer role more consciously, breaking the autopilot.
Right. So how does the trace part work? What are you tracing?
The instruction builds on the first one, again, at least 3 times a day for 3 days. This time, when you notice a thought, you write down the first letter of the first word of that thought.
Just the first letter.
Just the first letter. So if the thought is, I need to buy milk, you just jot down I. That simple physical act forces you to look at the thought, to acknowledge it. Makes it hard to stay on autopilot.
That physical action creates a pause, a moment of deliberate awareness.
Totally. And it reminded me of that story about Byron Katie, the spiritual teacher.
Yeah, the work.
Right. Her whole awakening apparently started with a simple thought about a cockroach. Like, I hate cockroaches. But then she stopped and actually questioned it.
Is that true?
The questioning. Yeah. And from there, she supposedly spent a whole year just writing down every thought she had, which led to this massive awakening and her whole teaching career.
That's a powerful illustration of just observing thought. The trace protocol seems like a more manageable first step towards that kind of awareness.
For sure. And Christina Black made a really practical point about this one, too.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Just about setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Like actually have a little notepad, physical or digital, ready to go so you can actually jot down that letter.
Right. Makes sense. Otherwise, it's easy to just think, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And then
you forget 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
The visual cue helps make it a real habit.
Good tip. So noticing with flicker, actively disrupting with trace. What's the third step?
This is the one they call the vanish protocol, or sometimes moment mindfulness. And apparently this is the exact exercise that led to that huge transformation for the firefighter couple.
Okay. So this is the big one.
It seems to be the culmination. The aim here is to actually make the internal voice disappear for periods of time, to really disidentify from it, remove its authority completely.
Okay. Make it vanish. How?
It sounds simple again, but maybe profound. You sit or stand, calm but alert, eyes open is fine. You just wait for a thought to speak to you.
Okay. Wait for it.
And the instant it does, you simply notice that you had a thought. That is it.
Just notice. Again, like the flicker protocol.
Kinda, but the effect is different here. And there are crucial do nots. This is key.
Okay, what don't you do?
You do not analyze the thought. Don't talk back to it in your head. Don't wonder where it came from, why you had it. None of that.
Because that just re-engages the thinking mind.
Exactly. That starts the chatter right back up.
Yeah.
But if you just purely notice that a thought occurred,
What happens?
they say the immediate impact is it just stops.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
complete vanishes the instant you notice it in this way. And it leaves behind this rich quiet.
A rich quiet. I like that description.
And they say that quiet space, experienced repeatedly, can lead very quickly to an awakening moment, like it did for that couple.
Wow. So the core principle behind vanish is?
It really hammers home that you are the observer and not the thinker. That voice inside, the one that sounds like you talking to yourself, it's not actually you, not the core you.
That separation again, removing its power, its automatic authority over your state of being.
Right. And Dr. Waller shared another great personal story here. He said he used to have these intrusive thoughts sometimes, like he'd see a Brinks truck, the armored ones, and his door might be open, and he'd have this fleeting thought like, oh, I should jump in and grab the money.
Okay, I think most people have had weird random thoughts like that.
Exactly. But before he understood this stuff, he said he'd get freaked out. He'd think, what? I can't think that. That's terrible. I'd go to jail. He'd argue with the thought.
Right, taking it seriously, identifying with it.
But then, after learning these protocols, he realized, oh, that's just chatter. He playfully called it the 5 to 7-year-old living inside my brain.
I love that.
And just seeing it as chatter, not him, not some deep, dark impulse. It completely disarmed the thought. It lost all its power over him.
That's a fantastic example. It perfectly illustrates the shift from being in the thought to observing it.
So this brings us to the so what.
Mm.
right? The bigger implications.
Yeah, what's the core takeaway from all this?
The main insight from the video, and it lines up with a lot of wisdom, traditions, and psychology, is that identification with thought is the root cause of suffering. Not the thoughts themselves, but our attachment, our belief that they are us.
That's a really fundamental point. It's the clinging, the identifying that causes the pain.
Huge.
Right.
And they even threw out a fascinating, though they admitted, informal speculation that maybe up to 70 or even 80% of emotional suffering could be linked just to this thought identification and the distortions it creates.
70 to 80%, that's massive. Imagine the potential relief, if that's even partially true, just by learning to disidentify.
Right. Think how much suffering could just melt away, how much clarity could open up.
It really reframes mental well-being, doesn't it? And the hosts, Dr. Waller and Christina Black, they emphasize something important about this journey too, didn't they?
They did. They strongly recommended that you do not want to be alone on this path. It's a big shift in perception, and having support can make a huge difference.
That makes sense. Community and shared understanding.
And that led them to mention their online community, Thought Masters.
Ah, Thought Masters. Okay.
Yeah, they described it as a place for like-minded people who are on this journey to connect, learn more, support each other, all help each other grow, as they put it.
So it's a resource for people wanting to go deeper with these ideas.
Exactly. Sounds like a good place for ongoing learning and practice. And they mentioned the link to check it out is right in the description of the original YouTube video on the Mastering Thought channel.
Good to know. Because, like they pointed out, knowing is one thing, but doing it, practicing it, that's where the real change happens, right? The rewiring.
Absolutely. So just to recap quickly, we've got this powerful three-step process, the flicker protocol. Just notice your thinking, realize the volume.
Right. Step one, awareness.
Then the trace protocol.
Yeah.
Write down that first letter, actively disrupt the autopilot, become the observer.
Step two, active observation, breaking the pattern.
And finally, the vanish protocol, or moment mindfulness. Simply notice that you had a thought, let it stop, experience the quiet, and fully disidentify.
Step three, disidentification, finding the quiet space. Simple steps, but with potentially profound consequences for freeing yourself from that mental chatter.
It really gets you thinking, or maybe not thinking quite so much. The core idea being that suffering is so often tied to believing those thoughts are fundamentally you.
Realizing that separation seems key to unlocking more peace, more presence, maybe even tapping into intuition more easily.
Which leads to that final provocative thought we like to leave people with. If that voice in your head, the one that sounds like you, isn't truly you, what new possibilities might open up in your life?
That's definitely something to sit with. And if you do want to explore more, definitely check out that Mastering Thought YouTube channel.
Yeah, the host suggested a couple of other videos specifically. One dives deeper into that lion and unicorn model of relationships they mentioned.
Ah, the dance of pursuit and avoidance one. Could be interesting for relationship dynamic.
Right. And another one is apparently a compilation looking at Eckhart Tolle's awakening through the lens of the protocols we discussed today.
Oh, connecting it to Tolle. That could provide more context.
Yeah. So as Dr. Waller and Christina Black put it, continue the learning. They even invite people to reach out if they can help.
It's a journey, and these tools seem like a practical starting point for anyone wanting to escape their head and experience more quiet presence.
Definitely worth exploring.
Yeah.
Until we deep dive again.